Hello guys, welcome back to Soft Skills Academy. If you are just joining us for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscription button, follow, like our videos. Also, don't forget to hit the notification button. We are on IT project management. In our previous class, we have tried to look at the definition of the project management, the skills in project management or IT project management. In our session today, we are going to look at program scheduling. What is program scheduling? This is a thorough procedure or a process that describes the stages you can be able to follow in order to achieve your project aims and objectives. So each stage is having what we call dependencies. So you can also takes into account of the abilities and the quantity of resources that are required for your project to reach a completion. So a successful time management is always required for effective project scheduling. And here we have provided 6 management techniques that you need to follow in order to be a successful project scheduler. One of it, we need to have plan scheduling management. You need to plan your schedule. That is, when are you going to start? Who is responsible for your work? And when is the expected completion of your project? So also you need to define the project activities. That is the activities involved in this project. You need to define each phases of these activities during undertaking this particular project. We also have what we call sequence activities. That is, you draft a flow of your project. A flow here in the sense that you have to begin with this, followed by the second one, followed by the third one, followed by the fifth one, up to the last activity. So it should be in a sequence form that without it, you cannot be able to at least accomplish the next step of an action. You need to have another one we call estimate scheduling. That is the estimation cost of your project. What is the cost required from the beginning to the end of your project? It is also necessary in these time management techniques. Also, you need to estimate the duration. That is, the project will take you from what duration to which duration. Like you're starting and completing in the next 3 months, in the next 4 months, in the next 5 months. You should have projection for that. Just like our final year project, we know usually it takes a session. So this is what is a estimation of the duration for your project. So the next one you are going to look at is develop a project schedule. After you have all done all this, so you are going to now summarize each and every of these phases and come up with the whole development plan of your project. Remember, you have developed those things in form of phases, but now you are making them as what? As a developmental plans. So this is what you are going to have in these phases or time management techniques. So we have types of project scheduling or type of project schedules. So here we have number one, we have master project schedule, we have milestone schedule or summary schedule, we also have a detailed schedule. So out of these three, we are going to look at it one after the other. If we talk about master project schedule, this is often consists of a condensed of list or condensed list of the tasks that you are going to embark on your project. So you are required to have a calendar or a timetable on what next are you going to do, on what date are you going to start your project, which date are you going to acquire your resources, which day are they going to arrive, and when are you going to begin your project. So this is very, very important in dealing with your project scheduling. The next one we have is the milestone scheduling, or it called summary schedules. So this is the type of project schedule that measure the milestone. That is, what you have achieved in the course of dealing with this project, and is going to look at the key deliverable actions you have been able to achieve in the course of this project. Is going in form of measures. At the end of every week, you are expected to achieve certain tasks. At the end of every uh, quarter, you are expected to achieve this, and to the end of your project. So this is also, you see, is very important if you are conducting any research work. The third one is the detailed project schedules. So this is the most thorough project schedule if we are talking about the project scheduling, as it identifies and track every project activity, every project phases you have made during your developmental plan is going to take charge of it. So if you have a complex, large or very lengthy project, it is important to have a detail of whatever phases you are going to adopt, because it's going to at least assist you in tracking everything that you are embarking on the project. So we have recommendations for making a strong project schedules. What are those recommendations that can make your schedule a very successful project scheduling? Let's look at them. We have one, you need to have input from the stakeholders. So here is telling you, in essence, you should consult your stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders during conducting that project? Is the people that are residing or the people that are responsible for that particular project. If it is a higher project that you they hire you as a consultant, so the people that are giving you this work are your stakeholders. And if it is a kind of a side project, so the people that you're going to implement this work to them, they are also part of the stakeholders. So you need to get their input. So for instance, now I believe all of you are in your final year and doing your final year project. So the stakeholders in your project that you need to contact and get their input are the what? Professions or professionals in this very field of your research, like your supervisor, your lecturers, your senior colleagues, and what have you, going by consulting the resources. So these are your stakeholders that it is necessary or mandatory for you to contact them to have a successful project scheduling, without which you cannot have a successful project scheduling. So the second one is the references of the past project. That is, you need to trace history of those people that have been able to execute a project like yours. So whenever a work is given, who are those people that try to implement a certain work like this? Probably they have encountered a numbers of issues, and they might decide they might at least track this problem and solve them, or they could not be able to solve in one way or the other. So you need to contact them and see how you can be able to at least get reach to them so that they cannot hinder you from scheduling your project. We also have keep risks in mind. In keep risks in mind here, you need to identify and document any factors that are related to any risks, or that are likely to put you into danger, like during rainy season, if you're constructing a road, you know normally you are going to face risks of flooding. Maybe you are trying to erect a culvert and there is a flood, so it will take away those culvert and the rest. So you need to take charge of this. In the place of IT, you are trying to mount a max for a certain network, and you know during rainy season also there is going to be a wind, so probably that wind might blow up these marks of yours. So this is also part of your risks that you need to keep them in mind, so that you can see how you can get reach to them. The next is also, you need to consider any non-work time. That is, for example, you make sure that the vacations time and the holidays are put in place, so that you will not come out to work and your staffing or your staff might say today is public holiday, today they will take on vacation, this and that. So you should, from your work plan, even if you are a kind of person or your company used to give a full-time job, like there is no holiday, everybody must turn out. So you need to consider this thing, because in order to avoid the scheduling issue. The next here is you define the critical part on your project. While scheduling your project, you need to iron out and see which of these phases is the most difficult for you to implement. Is it the back end? Is it the front end? Is it integrating this? Or is it hiring you a UIX designer? So all these things, the critical stage in your project, while scheduling them, you need to put them in mind. Then you record the scheduling assumptions. What are your assumptions? You're assuming that this particular project might have issue in one way or the other, might run out of capital, the staffing might fall sick or may go on vacation or may decide to say they are in public holiday, they need for a leave, and probably that staff has to do with a very key staff in your organization. So all these assumptions, you need to put them into consideration. So you need to include the project milestones into your schedule. This is useful for creating a summary schedules. We have mentioned them in the previous slides. But so these are some of the example of these milestones. Like, when are you going to kick off your project? Is also a milestone. Once you have started, it means you have achieved the kickoff. Then the design approvals. Is your design approved or is in the process of approving? Once your design get approved, in disparity of whichever field of IT project management you are going to embark, it means you also ascertained a milestone. You have the completion requirements. What are these requirements that can make your work to complete? Then product implementation. Those products that you are about to develop, are they at the implementation stage or they are at the completion stage? Then the project close out. When are you going to end your project? And that is what makes your project to be a good project scheduling or a project scheduler. We have also software management and estimation techniques. You are in IT field and you need to estimate your software performance. You need to measure your software. So we know this software measurement, you use it in order to quantify the characteristics or the performance of this particular software. And this, in general, is a process which you can be able to use to quantify the process or to quantify the characteristics of a software product or any given software product. The framework for the software measurement is based on the three key principles. That is, whenever you are trying to at least conduct software measurement or estimation tool for a software measurement, you need to consider these three key factors. Let's look at the factors here. One is the classifying the entities to be examined. What are those entities within the project that you need to examine? So this is very essential. We have done entities in many of our courses. So these are single objects within your project, or both tangible and intangible object, and you need to look at each and every of these entities to make sure that, or they need to be examined, so that you can be able to examine and find out they are worthy of improving, or they are in good shape, or they need some certain functionalities to be added to. The second one is determining the relevant measurement goal. What are these necessary goals that you need to achieve on a certain project that you are embarking on? Then identifying the level of maturity that the organization has reached or has to reach. Definitely, in any organization, we have a maturity level. That is the level you've been able to attain as a project management or project consultant. So here you need to identify that level that you have reached as a firm, and the level your project can be able to attain, or the present level that your project is at is. So these software measurement tools are very key in measuring or estimating uh, the performance of our project management, especially when we talk about software measurement. So we have what we call project estimation techniques. So what are the techniques that you need to use in estimating your project? So we first of all need to understand what is this estimate. Estimate is a rough calculations of your project. For example, a project cost estimate is a general idea of the price, or of a price model. That is why most of the time in computing we have a predictive model that can be able to predict a certain market, or can be able to predict a certain price at a given time interval. So this estimation is a key in estimating your project, and whenever a work is given, you can see what is the rough estimate. What is the rough estimate of what you are implementing, or the project you are implementing? That is why even in the market, if you are to ask the price of something and they told you that it's out of stock, you might decide to ask, or we usually used to ask, what is the price as of last market? So this cannot give us the actual price, but we are predicting the price, or we are having an estimate price. So then, looking at the project estimation techniques, we see these are the processes or the ways we can use in order to create our project estimation. And when your client or any other person that is going to give you a work, like the stakeholder, may decide to ask, in your perspective, what do you think the estimation cost of this very project and the rest? So we in our project estimation, we have the techniques like you need to project that can be able to at least help you to manage, forecast, and then have a time bound on other variables. Also, they are going to help you or assist you in managing the accurate estimation figure on your given project. So now these are the types of estimation on a given project. We need to have the estimation for the cost, like the cost of that implementation will cost like how much, then the time period, the time frame. The estimation time for the completion of project is also important. Then the scope, what why is your why where are you going to implement the work, and your work can be able to cover from these features to those features. And these are the scope and the risks. What risks are you expecting to encounter during this given project, and the resources you required or you are going to require for implementing your work. Then the quality. What quality? This is very, very important. At the end of the day, what can you achieve? What quality can you be able to provide on a certain project? Is it going to give a deliverable aim, or is just going to be delivered without meeting the aim? So we have after looking at the cost, the time, the scope, resources, and the quality, we have what we call the triple constraint of a project management. Triple constraint of a project management. If you are asked to outline or explore any of the three constraints of a project management, then you can decide to give a scope goal, a cost goal, and then the time goal. The scope, we know the areas, the features that your project can be able to provide. The cost, the amount you are expected to spend, and the time bound for your project to be implemented. So, and then we have what we call a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart in a project is a visual representation of the activities you are going to embark. It's being represented in form of a bar chart, so that is going to cover up your entire work. We are going to have an instance of our Gantt chart. The instance of our Gantt chart in terms of the project we are embarking on. Assuming we have a project topic titled "A Framework for Predicting the Price of a Bread in Nigeria for in the next 3 years or in the next 4 years." So you see, this is a forecast that has to do with a projection. So, and you are expected, if this happen to be one of your project topic, you're expected to implement this work or to complete this work in the next 3 months. So for you to do that, you need to have a rough work of your Gantt chart. That is the activities involved in this work. What are the activities? Probably is going to be a data set gathering, pre-processing the data, training the data, and implementing the data, or just data set gathering. Or before that, you're going to say you're going to conduct a related literature review on the topic. Then you gathered your data, you are going to implement the work, and then you have your deployment. These are the 4 basic stages that are required of you to complete this very particular work. So in order to achieve that, we said we need to have a Gantt chart, which is probably going to assist us in our project scheduling and have a track record to our completion time. We are going to look at this Gantt chart related to this topic in a Kuka note on the board. So, and we said we are going to have a schedule, a predictive model that can be able to predict the price of a bread in the next 3 years in this country. So we need to have activity. So here we may decide to have, after a project topic, so we should have activity, right? After having activity, we know that this work is going to be completed in the next 3 months. So we should have a month. In the next 3 months, we should have probably January, February, and then March, right? Each is 2025. So with this, okay, let's do it like this. This is our activity. This our activity is going to have some. Then here we need to have January here. Let's have an adjustment. January. Then we have February, and then March. So we have this. Each is going to be allocated with a certain number of weeks, right? In the first week, or we call it first week, second week, and then third week, or it should be 4 instead, right? So let's leave it this. Then we have let's say again first week, second week, the boat is too small. Then we have third week, and we have fourth week. Let's assume this one we also have fourth week, and then the rest. So here, If you are here, what are the activities that you need to take into your project? You know, you are going to have, we are taking a finale project, for instance. You are going to have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and 5. In chapter 1, you normally have a plan of writing aim and objectives, sourcing for data, and what have you. So let's write gathering data here. Gathering data sets. Data set is going to be in the first week. Now we are going to have this and what have you. So it's going to be on first week. Let's assume this thing is going to be blank. We are going to give it a color and write whatsoever you want to write here, or you just leave it like that. It's not a problem. So we have again pre-process, and pre-processed data set. Let's not confuse things. Data set. So you have it in the second week. So let's say we have it like this. So we also have it. Are we together? So and this continues. So in the next activities, maybe you are going into week 3 and 4. Let's now say it week 3 and 4. So in week 3 and 4, you are going to research on the data set. That is, you are going to find out on the data set to find out which data which of the algorithms are you going to use in implementing your work. That is research on the implementation. Research on implementation, please. If you can see that this handwriting very clear, just follow my tone. Research on the implementation, and research on the implementation is going to take you third and fourth week. So you are going to have it like this. So only this. Oh, sorry, it is not here, right? So it's going to be here on the fourth week, please. So you might decide to give it another look, maybe a kind of a different color each week with its own color and the rest. So after having this, you are going to try to implement your work. That is implement algorithms. You implement the algorithms in this work. So here you are going to move straight. How many weeks will it take you for the implementation? Let's assume it will take the whole of 1st, 2nd, 3rd in February. It will take you complete 1 month for only implementation. So you see now, you have this as the Gantt chart. So what you are going to so the next one is like you are going to have a documentation. So you need to documentation, right? So your documentation will take charge of this. Let's assume we have first week in March. So it will take the whole of the first week, for documentation. Are we together? So deployment and testing. Deployment and testing. Deployment and testing is going to take the what? The next 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we are having. So with this, you see you have prepared your Gantt chart, which will enable you to track the milestone of your achievement. It means at the end of every first week or at the end of first week of January, once you're coming into your Gantt chart, you will get to see that yes, you need to complete this task by the first week. That is gathering the data set. With this, you can be able to ascertain the milestone. At the end of the second week, you need to pre-process your data set and get them to use. So you see also you can track your milestone. At the end of the third and fourth week, you need to research on the implementation plan that you are going to take charge of, like the algorithms and what have you. So you are done with this also. So the implementations algorithm, that is, you're going to implement the algorithm the whole of February. You are going to use it for implementing your work only. So that is this. Then after that, you're going to use 1 week to document your work. Then you deploy the system and then test it for the next 2 weeks. So with this, you have your Gantt chart on ground. You can be able to at least track the record of your or the milestone of your project. Please get any project of yours that you are undertaking in this final year program. Sit down, try at least to ascertain the phase you are presently on, then draft a Gantt chart for your project. Then try as much as possible to utilize this Gantt chart experience and see how this Gantt chart can help you to improve the outcome of any project you're embarking on.